Aloha everybody, hi, welcome back to another Spirit Chat. It's been a little while. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time for everybody to get on here today, and also start commenting if you're joining me or if you're seeing this live, so that I know that you can hear me, and so that I know I can see your questions down below. So just pop in down below and just say hi, or whatever, I don't know, whatever you want to say, because I want to make sure that I can answer your questions. Today I'm going to be talking about, and I'm seeing Tina joined, Valerie joined, Kim joined. Hi guys. Hey, one of you guys just put there we go, Valerie. Oh, hello. Okay, thank you, Valerie. So at least that I know that you guys can hear me, and then if you have questions, then you can go ahead and post them below. Finally made it alive. Fantastic. Michelle, hi. Everybody's coming in so fast. Yay, I'm so excited. So the reason I wanted to do this in this live streaming video is because I've decided I'm going to declare August National Empath Month, because I think it literally needs a whole month. People are, there's more empaths than I've ever seen before. A lot of people are struggling with empath stuff, and I just feel like it's something that needs to be recognized more, and it needs to be something that we're handling better and educated more about, and that's why I want to do all this. Hi Stacy and Libby and all of you guys. You guys are, it's streaming so fast. Monica says I'm overwhelmed with my empath abilities. Fantastic. You guys do know I'm going to start talking about the empath stuff. Hi Mandy. And Mandy, I definitely have some things to say to you. I loved your post that you put up, because I thought that that was super helpful. It was a super helpful question, and I think that you're not alone. I think a lot of people feel like that. So I loved that you posted that today, or the other day, whenever you posted it. So definitely put your questions in. I have my computer down here where I'm trying to also tune in with you guys so I can see the questions, and so I can see some things, so I can go back to like Mandy's post, which is one thing that I wanted to talk about. And Mandy had posted something that I thought was just fantastic. I love it when you guys post these things, and that was a mini rant about being an empath, and my heart goes out to you so much, because that's why I do all the things that I do regarding empath abilities, okay? And so what her post is basically, what's so great about being an empath anyways? What's so great about it? She says, all I feel is people's crappy emotions, and I have no idea how to help or fix them. It's so frustrating. I'm trying to be grateful for this gift, but on days like today, it's just really hard. And I thought that that was absolutely such a fantastic post to put, because I noticed some other people were also struggling with that. And I do see your questions going down below, so I may have to scroll back to get to all of them, but definitely post your empath questions as I'm talking. Absolutely keep posting them in the feed. You know, when I was an empath, when I was a young empath, I was born this way. You know, it's kind of interesting, because over the years, and I'm sure that if you guys follow me, you've noticed that I've talked about this often, I'm seeing more empaths now than I've ever seen my entire life. And it was really disheartening when I was such a strong empath when I was younger, because I knew nobody else that was an empath. Nobody. I had mentors. I was in the metaphysical industry, and nobody seemed to have the ability that I had when it came to empath skills. And so I was stuck trying to figure out the empath stuff on my own, and I was really forced to try to learn how to feel better, just for the simple fact of there was no information on it. I couldn't be mentored on it. I didn't know where to go. And truthfully, until you learn about the ability, and until you learn how to work with the ability and how it really affects your life, most empaths just feel totally crappy. They do not feel well. I mean, it affects your health on a physical level, and it makes you feel shaky. It makes you feel like, how Mandy was saying, just really frustrated. You can feel all these emotions coming from people you don't know what to do with. that's why I'm really passionate about helping empaths, is because I did figure out a system. And why I'm kind of naming this National Empath Month. And just for those of you following me, we're going to do this every August. It's going to be our National Empath Month. We're going to be doing tips and all different sorts of things. And plus I want you guys to be aware if you are an empath, which is why I'm posting those tips, so that you can comment and realize if you're an empath, because a lot of empaths don't know that they are. There are some super cool things, to get to Mandy's question about being an empath. First of all, you're an energy reader, and it's almost like getting a cheat sheet to the world around you. The thing is, you don't understand yet as a young empath, or if you've not had enough training, you don't realize how to utilize this cheat sheet ability, this most amazing ability. You guys, once you learn how to work with your empath skills, it's so amazing to be able to be around people or places and really know right away and sum up what their intentions are, or really be able to read the energy of a place and just either steer away from it or move towards it. Because your empath abilities are meant to work with your other abilities and your spiritual senses. It is the forefront. It is your little antennas, I would say. You know how grasshoppers use antennas and bugs use their antennas? It's the forefront of your spiritual senses and abilities. So it goes out and puts its feelers out. This is what your empath abilities are, because you are now reading energy. So it goes out, it touches everything, it reads it, and then it pulls it back in and gives you all this information. It's like on people, places, and things. Are these good people to be around? Is this a good place? Will this work for you? And then you start to make different choices based on your internal guidance system, which would be your psychic abilities, your intuition and stuff. So you couple them. They are meant to work in tandem together. And if you don't quite understand and get this, it becomes really difficult, because it's like you're overwhelmed with energy, and it's like coming at you like a tidal wave, in a way, like if you go in the ocean and you just keep getting pummeled with waves and you don't know how to take a breath. And the difference between having this most amazing ability that is like this cheat sheet of allowing you to read energy and to feel like you're drowning in the tidal wave is understanding the ability better and learning that truthfully you're not like other people. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. I'll just get into it a little bit more now. That's why I did my empath transformation course, which will be opening up this month in the next few days or next week, because I realized one of the things that I did that was like the worst thing to ever do, which is why I want to talk to you guys about this. Don't try to ignore your empath abilities and hope they go away. It does not work. The more that you try to be like a regular person, it doesn't work. Like, you can try to ignore it, and you can try to bubble yourself, and you can try to go, yeah, but I'm just gonna force myself to do this, and eventually, I'm gonna get strong enough energetic wise. It doesn't work like that. You can get strong enough energetic wise, but it has to be with knowledge. And so the more that you align yourself with trying to be like everybody else, you might as well forget about it, because you're gonna be a hot mess. It's just, you cannot live the life that everybody else lives anymore once you discover that you have empath abilities. And that's a good thing. It's such a good thing, because you can now read energy. So you understand you have the ability, you learn to harness the ability, you learn to put your little antennas out there and feel energy. You use that antenna energy and this knowing that you get from being an empath. You read the energy, you have it bring back to you, and then you make decisions based on your intuition. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see is empaths have their antennas out there, they're reading all this energy, they bring it back to their bodies, and then they go against every single thing that their empath abilities are telling them. They still try to force themselves down this path, even though it doesn't feel right. They still try to hang out with these people, even though these people make them miserable. They still try to eat these things, even though that it's not responding well energetically to them. They still try to go to the places that you're you're having a physical adverse reaction to, because you're reading the energy and that energy doesn't match you. So the way that that works when you're reading energy is, if you're reading energy of a place or a person, when you go out there and you put your little empath antennas out there and you read it, if that energy is not aligned with a high vibe energy, or it's not aligned with you on your vibrational level, you're gonna feel icky and weird, and it's gonna make you feel shaky. It's gonna make you feel anxious. It's gonna make you feel all of these things that you're not liking. Okay, and so that's an indication to steer clear of that person or steer clear of that space. Well, most people, because that they want to try to be, live a regular life, or maybe say some of these people are friends or family to them, and they're like, well, how am I not going to be around these people? Well, you can definitely limit your time with these people, and they still try to force themselves to be around these people. So the first thing that I really want to cover, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to scroll back in just 1 second, is why, Mandy, that you have an ability, and why is it such a great gift? Because when you learn how to work with it properly, it is the most amazing gift. You can read energy and be guided in a way that it will enhance your life to amazing heights. It's when you don't have the proper knowledge that it makes you feel very, very crappy. The other thing that you need to learn how to do as an empath is you need to learn how to, and this is all training, you guys. This is all stuff that I teach about, and this is all stuff you need to learn. Just like all of your abilities, and I talk to people about this all the time. When you're developing your abilities, you can't, many times, you can develop them so far. But then after so far, you need help, and you need mentorship and more knowledge to actually put some systems in place and be able to learn how to work with these abilities even further. You need to, it's kind of like, yes, people remember they needed to learn to walk, talk, eat, and they for some reason forget that they were taught how to walk, talk, and eat. And you need to learn how to walk, talk, and eat with your spiritual senses. You really just need taught how to work with them. Even though you were born with the ability to do all those things, you need to learn how to work with your empath abilities, and it will help you to avoid some very bad choices in life, is what your empath abilities will do. It will help. It is also a cheat sheet to your own health. So physical health. So when you are really in tune with your empath abilities and you're having adverse reactions on a spiritual level, and you're like, I don't like this and I don't like that, let's pretend you're not an empath. If you're not an empath at all, people are still receiving that crappy energy. They just ignore it because they can. And the more you ignore it, you're still absorbing and being exposed to crappy energy, and the more that will then affect your life. And that usually manifests on a physical level. So you'll have tummy issues, you'll have high blood pressure, you'll have all of these different things. So becoming an empath not only is a cheat sheet as far as guidance of where you should go and what road you should take and who you should steer away from and who you should veer towards, it also will be a window to your physical health. It's like you get to see or feel what's going to happen on a physical level if you continue to subject yourself to those people or those places or those things. So non-empaths, people who are non-empaths, they'll just continue doing the same pattern over and over again because they're not feeling anything, and then they will find that it will begin to manifest on a physical level, and they'll have physical issues. So not only is it fantastic for your guidance system, it will keep you healthier when you pay attention to it, even though a lot of empaths, struggle with, well, I don't feel good now. But that's because you have to learn to live a different life as an empath. As an empath, you really, really do have to learn to live life differently. And so that's super important. So I've covered a lot of that. And now I'm going to go back and we're going to see what kind of questions that we have as empaths. I'm happy to be here, overwhelmed with my empath abilities. And Monica says she's overwhelmed. And that's, again, because you are sitting in that tidal wave of energy and you're not learning how to float with the waves. You're not learning how to use that with your internal guidance system. So again, one of the biggest mistakes I see with empaths is they get all this information from their antennas out there and then they ignore it. When you get all this information and you ignore it, and you still are at the place that makes you feel like crap, and you are still working with the people that make you feel terrible, and you're not trying to figure out how to maneuver yourself out of that situation, it's going to be just this overwhelming tidal wave of constant terrible energy around you. That is your cheat sheet. That is your key. You need to learn to pay attention to that and then make choices with your intuition. And so, for instance, people ask me this, and I didn't realize until the more I started doing these groups and more I started doing these videos, I don't make very many choices with the knowledge I have here. I don't. I've never done it, I don't think, since I was a kid. And I find it really interesting. So then I try to put myself in other people's shoes, like how they work through a problem with their mind, you know? And most all decisions I make is from the chest area. It's from my empath senses, and it's from my psychic abilities. I always make a decision based on how it feels, and then I will couple it with, okay, does that seem rational and reasonable, you know, or I'll figure out how to organize whatever decision I'm making with my brain. So all decisions are made from my empath abilities. All decisions are made from my psychic abilities. They all are. I'm guided completely decision making through here. So any issue, even where to eat. It's funny because if I think, okay, well, this place sounds good, I always check with my intuition and go, and I can feel, will this be a good experience or not a good experience? And if I feel like, this isn't going to work out so good, I go eat somewhere else. Even if my brain's going, I really want a pizza. So you see? Mandy says, thank you for doing this. We're going to get, like I said, make sure that you post your questions. The one thing I hate about being an empath is picking up on people's pain and sickness. I've always picked up on my sister's eye pain, toothaches, and I dislike it so much. Kim says. Now, that is something that is not awesome. But you can learn to cut cords and cut ties with the people that are, if you put a buffer around you, there's like techniques of actually bubbling and putting a buffer around you. When you become, and that's, I call all my empaths empowered empaths, because empaths tend to take a route that is more struggling for them. And so I want you guys to all be empowered empaths, and you actually, Kim, you have control over who, even though that you have the ability to tune in, you have the ability to tune out. So you can actually tune out, and there's some meditations or different things where you can cut cords or even do a meditation of tuning out your sister's physical ailments. And the interesting thing about that is becoming an empath also means understanding and respecting people's spiritual journey. And what does that mean? That means that if people are making choices that are causing them to have physical issues, you really can't do anything about that. And you kind of have to accept their choices, and you have to accept whatever path that they're on, and you have to separate yourself from that. And that is a huge thing about being an empath, is you really have to learn that when you're reading energy, you're reading the energy that they're emitting, and unless they're asking you for advice and unless they're wanting you to help them, there's nothing that you can do, because it's an invasion of their privacy. And you don't want to, people don't like to be told, well, you really need to change this and you really need to change that, if they're not open to changing something in their life. So you need to learn that you do have control, and there is some techniques where you can tune out physical ailments in people, and then you can learn to tune into physical ailments on people. That's actually a trained technique. So you don't have to just be like feeling everybody's ailments. That you don't have to. That's a training. Does just knowing things have to do with being an empath? Libby says, yes, it can. But that's also claircognizance, and a lot of times claircognizance and clairsentience, which is being an empath, work hand in hand together. And so if you just know something about somebody, it depends on how you're just knowing. So when you become an empath, hopefully I'll explain this pretty good. If you're an empath, and let's just say you meet somebody named Alice or Joe or whatever, and you go to a social event and you meet them, if inside your body you start feeling like a very specific feeling of happiness or sadness or something that relates into your tummy area as well, that usually is empath abilities. You are usually, what an empath is you mirror their body, you mirror their energy. So whatever they're feeling at that time or they felt like that day, you mirror it, you're a reflection of it. When you just have a knowing, something different, it feels different. So empaths will go down to the tummy area usually, and the chest and the tummy area, and it kind of radiates through their arms, and you can feel it through your entire body. If you're working with claircognizance, you're working with a space that is usually about from the throat chakra to the solar plex chakra, and a lot of times you feel it down your back, and that you feel more like if you've watched a movie and let's say that you're trying to explain the movie to a friend, but you already know all the events that happened, that's more like claircognizance. You can actually see pictures, and it's just a knowing more with your head and your back area and your body. It's more of a knowing of an event or things that happen or a way a person is. So empath is more like you're in their body, almost like you're in their skin, and you can feel everything they're feeling. And a claircognizance is more of a knowing, like you watched a movie, if that makes sense. So that's one thing. I agree. Mandy Kim says it's so hard. People say a lot to me, haven't I met you before? Do you think that that has something to do with being an empath and me hooking into them, says Kate. Yeah, it absolutely can be trait of being an empath, and that's because when people read empath's energy, a lot of times it's like a very healing energy. And when people have a healer's type energy, which I believe you do, Kate, you have the healer energy, when you project a healer energy, a lot of times people feel like they already know you, and a lot of empaths do get into the healer field. So a lot of empaths are healers, and you're projecting that type of energy, and so yes, they're very comfortable and they feel very much like, yes, I feel like I know this person before. I don't know how to say your name. Elgis? I don't know. I'm totally going to just botch that one. I've been told that I have to develop my abilities in order to have a better life and be successful. If not, I will kind of always be stuck and not reach my full potential. Is this true? Well, that's kind of a reading, but like general overall stuff, does everybody have to develop their abilities to be successful? No. There's some very successful people out there who've never developed their abilities. And even if they're very intuitive, they might just decide that they want to ignore them, and they still learn to work with universal laws, and they still learn to be the best version of themselves. I think that most people, though, who are the best versions of themselves, intuitively follow where their passions are, and they intuitively follow what they're meant to do in life. They're intuitively tuned into their spiritual body, whether they know it, admit it, or not. Sometimes people think it's just being in a zone, or sometimes people just think, I'm just following what makes me happy. And so you don't have to be tuned into you don't have to develop your abilities. But I'll tell you what, it does make life a whole lot easier if you tune in your abilities as far as guidance. But if you don't have the proper training, it can be just confusing. So you definitely need training when you're developing your abilities. Libby says, do we as empaths sometimes unknowingly guard ourselves when we are in a chaotic place like Walmart? Should we still bubble for protection? You should still bubble for protection. Sometimes you can unknowingly guard ourselves, but I actually find that it's the opposite. Most of the time people just forget altogether, and they just go, I'm going to power through Walmart, or they forget that they have an effect on them when they go into Walmart, and then they just go in and then they feel really crappy. But one of the ways you can go into places such as Walmart is you go in what's called like a less white noise time. So empaths, I don't know if you guys know this, but highly sensitive people and empaths tend to do better at night. And there's a real thing called white noise energetically. And since empaths are energy readers, they tend to be able to read all the energy going on from the white noise. And at night, when everybody starts calming down and they're not out in public as much, this white noise level tends to come down. And that's why empaths tend to be more relaxed, less anxious, and more calm at night. And that's why they tend to be night owls, because they love the energy at night. And so if you do need to go into Walmart, or different places like that, I would suggest, and this is just the life of an empath, stop going when it's really busy. Figure out a time when it's not really busy and go then. Go at nighttime, go early morning time, go whatever time that you know that your Walmart is not busy, because most people still have to go to Walmart or whatever. Go then. And that's sort of the things that I'm talking about, where you learn how to live as an empath, and you don't force yourself to go at 3 o'clock, or, well, unless your Walmart's like dead at 3 o'clock, but you don't force yourself to go at dinner time, at noon time, when you know that it's going to be really strong, high energy. You learn to not do that as an empath. That will actually bring your energy down and make you feel like a not empowered empath. So you will learn little tricks like that on what you can do. Valerie says public places can be pure hell. They can or they cannot. Like I said, it depends on your perception and your strength. As you strengthen yourself as an empath, if you learn to work with your abilities, the more that you guys ignore the abilities, and the more that you force yourselves to go to Walmart at the times that are highest, the more that you force yourselves to work with the coworkers that you cannot stand and have such negativity, it's ridiculous. And talk to your cousins and talk to your parents who have a negative vibe, and be surrounding by people who are just really pessimistic and negative people. And then you go into places that you hate, but you force yourself to do that. What that does as an empath is it makes you weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And so the more that you start working with your intuition and your empath abilities, and the more that you move towards strong energy, and the more that you move towards energy that feels good to you, and the more that you veer away from energy that doesn't feel good to you, you will find that your energy level as an empath, your strength, your empowered empath strength, will go higher and higher and higher and higher. The reason that you want that to happen is because, let's say that you move towards positive energy and strong energy most of the time, whether your brain says, oh, I can't do that or not, and you veer away from really negative energy or energy that feels icky to you. Each time that you do that, it gathers this strength for you as an empath. It gathers this protection. So then if you, let's say, okay, well, you couldn't avoid going into Walmart at noon on a Saturday one day. Well, if your empath strength and your energy is this high, and then you go into Walmart, it's only going to lower it like this much. Versus constantly subjecting yourself to things that make you feel crappy and ignoring your empath signals and signs, and still moving towards the energy that feels crappy, and moving towards the people that feel crappy, and allowing them to be all just circulating in and around your life. Your empath strength is going to be down here. So then you go into Walmart at noon on a Saturday because you can't avoid it that day, and it just hits the bottom. And that's what happens. So the more that you are guided by this ability, the more that you make good choices on what feels good and move that direction, the more that it will strengthen and grow. It's like a muscle. It will get stronger and stronger and stronger. And then you will start learning what to do when your strength is up here, and then you did something that made it come down a few notches. Then when you ground yourself, your strength will come back faster, quicker, stronger. So if you're not feeling good as an empath, most likely you are ignoring the signs and signals you're getting from your empathic senses. You are still going, well, the workplace is horrible for me, but I still have to go. I still have to go pay the bills. I still have to be around these people. While that is true in essence, you can start phasing yourself out somehow. You can maybe look for another department. You can start interacting with your coworkers less, that sort of thing. So public places can be hell. I hope to learn how to handle it. And again, that is with building up your empath muscle. It's building up your empath strength. Another thing that I teach about often, like I said, the empath transformation class that I do on this is like a 52-week transformation. You get a new thing every 2 weeks. It's training yourself to live differently. It's training yourself to live life as an empath and a strong empath. So that's really takes a lot of work, which is why I did the really long class. By the way, I only do this class like twice a year, so it's just, I don't open it very often. Tina says, do people unknowingly know I'm empathetic? I get people every day almost pour their heart out and personal emotions to me, and I just meet them. I work in a hotel. Absolutely. People read your energy, and like I said, empaths usually project a healer energy. Most of them are healers, and as you project a healer energy, then these people will just feel drawn to tell you things, and that's actually an empath sign that I will be posting tomorrow. So yeah, they unknowingly will know. My son definitely sounds like an empath too, Kate says. He finds being at school a strain. He reads people very well. In learning, I will be able to assist him too. That's really fantastic because kids are super good at this stuff when they have the proper training and proper techniques, and they learn how to make choices again based on strength. If I leave you guys with nothing, you need to remember as an empath, every time you're getting all this energy information back all day, move towards the strong positive energy, move back from the not strong positive energy, move back from the crappy feeling energy. Always just veer towards the strong, the current, the strength, and always pull back from the not, because that will help your empath muscle get stronger and stronger and stronger. I tried to learn to work with my ability better, so when I finished my clinical and mental counseling degree in December, I am better able to help clients or be able to know what they aren't saying. Or I need to learn how to work with my abilities better. Kim, I don't know. I know you're in some of my other classes, but you might enjoy that transformation class, and I don't know if you're in that. You're going to have to send me a message and let me know if you are, because I think that you would find that helpful. Michelle says, when I'm not completely overwhelmed and depleted, I feel like this is a gift and I can read situations and feel empowered. When I'm already stressed out, it feels like a ball and chain and I go back and forth. But the key is, Michelle, if you're already stressed out, most likely you haven't followed your empathic senses and abilities. That's, again, something that, people, I think that they get into wanting to develop their psychic ability and senses and their empath abilities because they think it'd be fun and interesting. They don't realize that it, honest to God, is a guide for you to make things less stressful and to make life easier and to really bring you success and bring you joy and bring you love into your life. That's why we have these abilities. It's to enhance your life. It's not just a fun party trick. And so the key, Michelle, I would say to you is, if you're already feeling stressed out, you need to go back through your day or through your week and figure out what choices did you make that day or that week that were not in alignment with your intuitive senses. Because I don't care if it's stopping at the grocery store or what time you should take the kids to school or when you should pay a bill. I use my empathic and intuitive senses with all of these things. I'm guided by them all the time. And if I go against them, which I will because I'm human every once in a while, it never turns out right. I tune into everything. Even setting this live streaming thing, I intuitively went to what time is best. My brain wanted to do it at 1 p.m. my time. My intuitive senses said, no, it's got to be 3. Went with that. I don't know why, don't know what would have happened, but I just don't even worry about it, and I go with what my intuitive senses tell me. And I just find it very interesting that you say when you're feeling stressed out, because when you're not overwhelmed and depleted, you're going on the right path, you're in tune. When you're stressed out, you're over here and you're not in tune. So make sure that you pick that apart, because if you go back and pick that apart, you'll start realizing, oh yeah, I remember I felt like I should have done this, but I thought I needed to do that. And you'll be like, you'll start seeing a pattern develop of, did your brain tell you to do that, or did your intuition, your intuitive senses, your body right here tell you to do those things that got you too stressed out? You'll notice that it's most often here. It's almost always here. It's just like clockwork. When my grandma was alive, I used to feel it a lot more. After she passed, I was a teenager and I didn't see as much. But in the last few years, it's been coming back. Yeah, that can happen. You can have blocks during your lifetime that make things go away or up and down, or they can become stronger. And usually the more stressed out somebody is, the more focused that they are in the physical, and the more that they try to push through life, the more blocks that they will put up. The more that you allow to sit back and sort of observe life, and you sort of start trying to feel life from here and feel what changes you should make and what you should kind of be moving towards, the blocks will then fall, and you'll start getting more clarity, and you'll be more tuned into some internal guidance stuff. So the more that you're trying to bulldoze through life, the more blocks will be there. So my suspicion on that is that you kind of are trying to bulldoze through life at those particular times. Carol, let's see. Stacy says, there are people in my work I avoid because of their energy. I don't like the feeling I get to be when I'm near them. I feel bad. I can't help it. Does that necessarily mean their energy is bad? Well, Stacy, that means their energy is not resonating with you. So their vibration is different than yours, and they might be having a harder time making bad choices in their own life, or just not feeling happy is usually what that means. If somebody's energy is bad, you'll get more of an aggressive feeling in the chest center. You'll get more of a protective, aggressive type of like wanting to shield yourself when their energy is bad. Most often when you don't want to be around a coworker or whatever, they're very pessimistic and they're very unhappy. That's more often than not. I'd say 95% of the time. So, but still, if they are feeling, if their energy, they're low vibrating people, if they're low vibration, they're going to pull from you. And so regardless, if you don't like the way you feel around them, try to steer clear of your coworkers as much as possible. Try to have as least amount of contact with them as you can. Can you have a delayed reaction? I will sometimes wake up about an hour after going to sleep and either have an anxiety attack or feel so sick that I'm going to throw up. The thing is, I feel fine when I go to bed, and I'm not getting, I don't know what happened. So Michelle, can you have a delayed reaction? Absolutely. You can have a delayed reaction of hours, or, you know, I suppose you could have a delayed reaction of days. You definitely can have a delayed reaction with anxiety, but empathic abilities definitely they go hand in hand with anxiety and feeling sick to your stomach. So my guess is, Michelle, that you actually are struggling with your empathic abilities every day. So you are really, your empathic muscle is like way down here. And when you deplete your physical body from not working with your empath abilities, when you become a weaker empath and you kind of succumb to just plowing through everything, whether your empath abilities say no, don't go there, my guess is that you are really pushing through life without your intuitive senses guiding you, and you're pushing through all the energy that doesn't resonate with you, and as you're trying to raise your vibration, you're getting a mismatch. And so if that's happening on a daily basis, you're constantly going to feel sick to your stomach and have anxiety. You really are. For those of you who have anxiety, if you're having anxiety as an empath, or just you don't know if you're an empath and you're having anxiety, that really means you're trying to force yourself to do things that are not in alignment with your vibration. So it means that, like, let's pretend like you're a little kid and your mom, you are having the most joyful time playing with some friends, and your mom is like, nope, you have to take a shower and then you have to visit with grandpa or grandma, and you know, I'm gonna leave you at their house and there's nothing to do, and you're just like, I really don't want to do this. As a kid, you just want to keep playing with your friends. It's similar to that in a sense that when we become adults, a lot of times people think that they need to be responsible, and they start forcing themselves to do things that they hate and living a life that they're just not enjoying. And when you do that, you can start giving yourself anxiety all the time. You're basically going against how you feel internally, or what internally brings you happiness, or what vibrates with you internally with that vibration. And it can be worse when you're trying to raise your vibration. So if you're on a new spiritual journey and your vibration is raising, a lot of times you will then notice people around you, or situations or places around you, will not match your vibration, where maybe they matched before, they will no longer match. And so as you raise, and then you'll start feeling uncomfortable with these situations or people or whatnot, and then it starts becoming like a weird, uncomfortable thing. So I think, Michelle, that you're making a lot of choices that move not towards the good energy, but you're like trying to plow through the not so good energy. Yes, the friends and family part is hard. The friends and family part is hard, but you can kind of veer conversations away from friends and family. There are ways that you can just be like, I have to go. I can't really visit right now. Or there's ways that you can just like be like, if you're in a conversation, you can be like, hey, I need to stop over here for a minute. You can bow out of conversations. You can, if you're on the phone, you can be like, hey, I have to go. You can cut time with friends and family fairly easy if they're affecting you as an empath. It's actually a pretty easy trick. And also, if you're dealing with people who are negative as an empath, my most favorite trick is to get them talking about something that they enjoy. I can always find something that somebody enjoys, even if they're a negative person. There's something that they like. Something. Cars, plants, water sports, toys. There's something that they enjoy. And all you have to do with somebody who's negative or draining is you get them talking about what they love or that they feel joyful about. That's all you have to do. Hey, how are those plants coming? Oh, did you see the new car of this? Did you see the rims on that? Are you going to the lake? That's all you have to do is just be smart. Really get them engaging in something that makes them feel happy, that you will uplift their vibration. Things will feel nicer. You always want to do that with friends and family. You will uplift their vibration just by talking about it, even if they're mostly negative. When they talk about something that is joyful to them, it's like, oh, and they get really excited and it changes, and then your vibration matches and it feels like a nice conversation. So that's really good. My kitty is meowing her head off. I think she's trying to say hello. Oh, well, hello to Kitty. Yes, this is true. My abilities began to grow. I started a class on Sunday for psychics and empaths and mediums. Well, there you go. Aloha, Michael and Lori. And Mandy says, thank you. And what if the place, Michelle says, is your job? Is there any way to deal and learn, or is it time to go? I have a sneaking suspicion it's just time to go. There's a couple of different things. We need jobs to pay bills, and that's how you're trained, right? You're trained that you have to have a job to pay bills. So what do people do? They go after a job that's easy or that's close or that they think can bring them the most money, right? They never go after a job. I would say 95% of the time that's what people do. You never go after a job that sounds fun, because you guys can even comment below, but I bet you guys could comment a whole bunch of jobs that sound fun, and then you would, if you told your friends and family, they would be like, are you insane? Like, how would you ever make money doing that? Because that's where everybody's mind goes to, right? So, Michelle, I don't suggest quitting your job immediately, because that's ludicrous and you have to pay your bills. That's what most people do. They have to pay their bills. But what I do suggest for those of you who are in a job that feels like that is causing you empath issues, is that is your spiritual body saying, this doesn't work for you, and there's a better way and a better system and a better vibration that works with you. Honest to God, it is telling you, it is a cheat sheet of this doesn't match your vibration. That's what it says, okay? So your vibrations are like this. If that's true, you begin exploring what would work for you. What would feel better? Remember, you're working from here. What just play up 10 things in your head of what would feel better. I can't tell you how many clients I've mentored that when I started working with them on a mentorship level, they said, I have actually psychically seen something that could turn out really well for them, because that's one thing I'm really good at, is being able to see what path that would work really well for you. And I usually will say, are you interested in this? Because I see that you could be successful here. And they always say, funny that you mention that. I would love to do that, but I don't know how. It is usually think outside the box, and we always come up with a solution that they're like, wow, I never even thought of that. So my advice to those of you who hate your job is start brainstorming 10 different things that you would love to do in life that feels good. Not up here, feels good. if I hit the lottery and I had to do a job, what would it be? What would feel fun to me? And then you go the next step. Okay, not I can never make money at that. How could I possibly make money by teaching somebody else this skill, by guiding them with this skill, or by making something for them that I love, that I'm passionate about? How can I make money by doing that? And then you begin to develop that idea and that scenario and that system on the side of your job. You begin to plan it out. You begin to try to figure out not how you can't make money, but how you can. And once you start playing around with that, your creative juices will flow, your intuitive senses will kick in, and you'll start being guided, and it'll start being a fun exercise. And then you can start to grow something on the side, and or you can look for something on the side if it's already a job that exists, and you can be open to the universe. But what that does is it brings the blocks down, and now you're not working with resistance. You're working with like the flow, because of how is this possible? How will this work for me? So that works with the flow, okay, of the universal energy, which is what you're doing as an empath. If you go, okay, I'm writing these 10 things down, but nope, that'll never work, and then you're working with resistance. You're putting up blocks. So just pretend like it's a fairy tale exercise and do that. Start working with the flow, and the next thing you know, you'll start seeing things that will synchronistically align with what you're thinking about. Opportunities will start oddly showing themselves around you that you were thinking about. You'll start working with some really like strange things will start popping in, strange opportunities usually. So if it's your job, yes, it's time to plan an exit strategy, but like I said, you don't try to just go out and quit immediately, because then you'll be mad. And then your vibration will be worse. It'll be a whole thing. So how can you tell if the feelings you're feeling are feelings if you have picked up from someone else? That's super easy, Susan, which is all your own feelings come with a thought process. It's called a thought train. So if the feelings you're picking up from somebody else is followed by a train of thoughts, I need to stop at the grocery store. Oh man, I don't want to because I have to do laundry, and it's going to take so long. And then you get into that line, and then the checkout thing breaks, and then you're really mad all the way home. That's a train of thoughts. And when you're home, you're angry. Okay, that's a train of thoughts. If you're just going about your day and for no good reason, you just get angry out of nowhere with no thought train, then they're not your own. You're picking up on somebody else's. Or happy out of nowhere, just all of a sudden you're just happy. Or maybe you got a promotion at work and somebody told you a good job, and then somebody was really kind to you in the parking lot. Then that's a thought train. That's you can pinpoint where that emotion came from. So if you can pinpoint a train of thoughts that led to the emotion, that's your own. If you can't, and it just randomly pops in with no thought, then it's somebody else's. So that's a super easy way to tell. I needed to hear that. I always felt like I should help them. Fantastic. As an empath, Kathleen says, what's the best kind of protection? The best kind of protection is to realize, truthfully, everybody's going to hear bubble yourself and do a meditation, but honest to God, the best kind of protection is awareness. Straight up. It's just awareness. It's being aware of where you feel crappy and where you feel good, and move towards the places that you feel good and steer away from the places that you feel crappy. But you don't always have to steer away from the places and people that you feel crappy. You can use your brain. That's what your brain's for. It's really smart. You can use your brain to filter through some of the information and go, here's how I can avoid this situations where I'm not feeling good over here. How can I make this work for me in a way that feels good? That's where your brain comes in. And then there's all kinds of other things like eating non-processed foods, being very careful about what you subject yourself to on TV, as far as like movies and stuff like that. People don't realize how much entertainment affects their empathic abilities. Who you're surrounding yourself as far as friends and family, for some reason, people think that no matter what, they need to be with these friends and family in their life, and that is a huge mistake as far as protection goes. You really need to learn to block out negativity. So awareness and being aware of negativity, those are your two top ways as far as building that empath muscle. I would say is, you want to be aware of any negativity you're subjected to on a daily basis, whether it be a place, a person, or a thing. And you want to understand that as an empath, it has a huge repercussions for you, way bigger than just normal people. It's a big deal to subject yourself to negativity, which is a low vibration and which is a crappy energy vibe. That's what low negativity is. It's low vibration and a crappy energy. And what are we? As empaths, we're energy readers. And so the more you subject yourself to negativity, I don't care if it's on Facebook or whatever it is, even anything you read, anything you see, it is, even if it's not happening to you or somebody you know, but it's a story that makes you just feel really crappy, that's negativity. That, you know, media, that's negative. Like any of that kind of stuff. As an empath, you will not be able to subject yourself to negativity and feel well. They do not go hand in hand. It does not work together. It just won't. I do not surround myself by negative people. They're just not in my life. I don't have much contact with them. Doesn't matter if they're friends or family. You know why? Because I can't. Because I will get very sick from it. I choose to not have those people in my life. I truly do. As far as media, I watch none of it. I have nothing to do with social media. Not social media, media in general. As far as social media, truthfully, I don't have much to do with social media. I have people that post stuff for me. I read no news feeds. You want to know why? Because I cannot believe the negativity on the news feeds. It blows my mind, the negativity on the news feeds. It's just insane. It's crazy town. And I would rather spend my time doing much more productive, high vibration, joyful things than reading about somebody who's really mad that something happened at a store or somebody did something to them or whatever. I would much rather spend my time walking on the beach or, watching a show I truly enjoy or something that's uplifting or spending the time with my family because it's just too much for me. And then the high vibe foods that you wouldn't really realize, but anything that's alive or that grows is definitely important. So there's a whole, like I said, I have a class that has got 26 challenges that every other week you will get a new challenge as an empath to restructure your life and to live your life differently as an empath than you've ever lived it before. And the reason that I do that is because I'm so passionate about helping you guys feel better. Number one, because I feel better. And number two, because living your life as a healthy empath, it takes a lot to retrain yourself that you're not like other people, and it takes a lot to break habits that you didn't know affect you as an empath. It's crazy how much you don't know is affecting you right now. Little things that you're doing that you think is perfectly harmless as an empath, you would be shocked to know how much it affects your life and how much it makes you not feel well or makes you feel blocked or makes you feel stuck. That's why I did the transformation class, and that's why it lasts an entire year, because you get a year to work with the students and with me on just changing your whole life. It's like you know how diets, people don't go on it, like they have to change it. It's a lifestyle change. It's very similar. Thank you so much, Amy says. Thank you, Amy. When you bubble yourself, are you still able to tune into energies? Oh, God, absolutely, 100%. That bubbling doesn't have anything to do with tuning into energies. Heather says, right now I am in hermit mode by choice. Being an empath, I have felt in my chest and abdomen what people are, and my brain kicks in, either warning me a feeling of stay away of this person or either that aggressive. Heather, you really, that's another thing. You really shouldn't be surrounded by so many people that you have this sense to stay away from them. They're aggressive or whatever, because I could read everybody in a mall, on the street, and whatever, and there's plenty of decent people out there. There really is. They're not all negative. They're not. And not all of them have bad intentions. Some people are very good people, such as yourselves. And, if you're just in constant, feeling like you have to be in hermit mode because your brain is just telling you stay away from here and staying away from there, that's not living a healthy life either. So you need to figure out where are you going and where are you spending your time and whatnot, and change some things to where you're also living a very, happy life. We're here to be productive, and we're here to learn, and we're here to grow. We're here to learn how to live this amazing life on this physical planet. We're not here to just suffer. We're not. And so that's really important. Julie says, this explains why I'm a night owl. Oh my gosh, yes. I need to do a podcast on that, because people don't realize, empaths do not realize, and people don't realize that if you're a night owl, you're an empath. It's the whole energy thing and everything. Michelle says that is so interesting. I always shop off peak, was doing this even before I knew what an empath actually was. Grocery store, odd things, yeah. Less crowded, definitely. Do our pets pick up on the energy we pick up from others? Oh, 100%. So if you're out there and your pet, you're feeling like agitated, and you come home, your pet is like, whoa, like, you just stay over there. Because pets are amazing, as you guys have, I'm sure, listened to my stuff. They're fantastic energy readers, and they have not been trained to block it like you guys. So you've been trained most of your life to shut out your empath abilities and your intuitive senses and your psychic senses and your spiritual senses. You've been trained to do this. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Use your brain. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Why would that work? Use your brain. But think through this. Think through this. That's not going to make you money. You've been constantly drilled into your head, and now I'm trying to explain to you how to redo the brainwashing. And that can become hard, but yeah, pets have never been trained, so they're super in tune. And Kim, you're not in that class. Oh my gosh, Kim, you need to be in the class. I just really think you need to be. I think that you would like it. Michelle says, it's my job and work environment. We sit in quads of 4 in Manhattan, crowded bus getting there, subway, then all day, people on top of me. Yeah, that's not awesome for an empath. So, but you're in a fantastic place to rework your job situation. I really feel like maybe someday we can do a reading or something. Jenna says, thank you. Julie says, does where you physically live affect you as an empath? Super good question. Oh my God, I love this question. I feel like the state where I live has always been draining to me, and to where I feel constantly exhausted when I'm in other states. Or I'm assuming you're saying where you live doesn't feel good, and you can go places that do feel good. Empath can read the energy, like I said, of people, places, and things. Places. That also includes cities, parts of cities and states, and just countries. It absolutely includes that. And so what you want to do is you want to go towards places that vibe with you and that match your vibration. And so yes, as an empath, definitely you can notice and if you're vibing with a place or not. All land, all places, all states and cities, they emit a vibration of their own. The earth emits a vibration of its own in different parts of the planet. And so you want to be more, if possible, you want to be towards places that feels good to you, and so the vibration is really high. And like, it's kind of interesting because Hawaii, the vibration here is off the charts. Just most people can feel it whether they're empathic or not. And there's some places around the earth that also feel like that. Sedona is another place. There's some places in Egypt. There's some places all over the place. So yes, where you live physically can absolutely affect you as an empath. And if the overall economy of where you live is very depressing or suppressive, the overall vibe of that place and city can definitely be lower, and you can sense and feel it from the places and the people. I've been places where people are struggling with the economy, and they're struggling with trying to, live, and the job situations aren't good, and man, can you feel that as an empath. You can feel the vibe being very low, and it can feel super, super uncomfortable. I am very sensitive to places that I travel to, very sensitive. Tina says, yes, I work as a concierge at a major resort, and I get so much energy. I'm a Reiki healer. I have to take deep breaths throughout the day. I can't change jobs yet, which is fine. But if you're a Reiki healer, Tina, you absolutely can grow that business as a healer, and you can become, or you can add to your healer stuff. Sarah says, my daughter is sensitive and is always telling other kids at her daycare to back off and give her some space. That's awesome. I'm guessing she inherited empathic tendencies. How do you help young kids understand and cope? You know what you do is they basically know how to understand and cope. You just make sure you don't train them not to. So kids are so intuitive that they'll naturally veer towards what feels good and veer away from what doesn't feel good. Just don't be like, nope, you have to do this and this is why. I mean, unless, of course, it's like ridiculous and they're going to hurt themselves. But for the most part, let them guide them. Let them be their best guide, because until they're trained to ignore it, they're actually really good at coping and understanding. In fact, they could probably teach you a few things, or us a few things, just because they'll be like, why would you do that like that? I remember being a kid just going, I don't understand these adults at all. They're just doing all these things that I know that they know they shouldn't be doing, but they do them anyways. Like just weird choices that they would make, and it was very strange. I just couldn't understand it, but I could see that they felt like they had to do it. Thank you, Jennifer. Michelle says, Kelly says, I went to volunteer to do something I had dreamed of doing, massage therapy, hospice patients. They hired me as an independent contractor. Kelly, yay, that's so cool. Very awesome. Mandy says, I work in hospice too. Kelly, very cool, you guys. That's a fantastic job, but it's also very stressful. I thank you so much. I actually really enjoy what I do. It's an environment in the commute that's no longer working for me, and it's not full alignment. Well, then there you go. You can, Michelle, you can actually, yeah, because I felt like you had a lot of choices there. So you can just switch some things around. Mandy, that's awesome. I listen to Jennifer's podcast all the time. Thank you. I'm so glad that you guys are listening to those and enjoying them. Kate, I have changed jobs. I just went with my gut feeling that things were better around the corner. They kept getting better and better. I keep going with my message feeling, and that then cuts off for me. But I'm assuming, Kate, that things are amazing because you're following your intuition, which is so cool. Thank you. This has been amazing. Laura, I love your empath class. Yes. There's a fellow student on my empath class, and that's fantastic. Thank you. Julie says that's maybe why I'm a night owl, because I'm not being influenced by others' energies. Yes. And because you can feel, it's not just that you're feeling people, places, and things. You know, there's, like I said, there's a white noise vibration that goes on all the time that lowers at night. And so when that white noise vibration lowers, everything feels very zen and a lot more relaxed, and you can be a lot clearer. So that's why also. Jenna says, thank you for this, because so far my empath abilities sometimes keep me from wanting to go out in public, shopping and networking. You know, that is a bummer, because that can happen, Jenna. And you just need to learn to be strong. And some of it's a mindset. As well. Like, you need to realize that you can be a very productive, strong, empowered empath. You just need to have the proper tools to do that. And like I said, that empath group that I do, another thing is you have a big support system in there. Have a big reminder. Lately, I've been posting a lot of the pictures of any challenge that we have, of what I do personally to make sure that people are realizing that the reason how I came up with this system is because I use it myself. I don't teach things I don't use, you guys. I teach what I use. So that's how I came up with that. And you shouldn't, as an empath, feel like a hermit, or that you can't learn and grow or do anything fun and cool, because then you're not living the best version of you, right? Like, that's not why we're here. When does the class open again? I need to be in there, Kelly says. It will be opening either this week or next week. I'm hoping on Thursday, but you guys, I kid you not, every time I open a class, you can ask Lydia, stuff goes crazy. My computers will crash, my phone will crash, something will happen to the domain website. I kid you not, every time I get ready to open a class, Spirit intervenes and it just starts messing with stuff. So that already happened this week because we have a launch date, which we're hoping is Thursday, but we'll see. We'll see if Spirit will calm down enough to let me open the class. And so watch for it. I'll post it here and some other places. I meant to ask, Jenna says, I meant to ask if maybe you can do a manifesting class for empaths. I think I stand in my own way and I don't see it somehow. Jenna, I have so many classes I'm doing. People are waiting on my spirit communication class. I do the psychic ability class, which people love, and they're waiting on the spirit one. I do the empath transformation one because I'm so passionate about helping people feel better. But I'm working on a dream class, you guys, which is also going to be really cool and helping you learn, because dreaming is your gateway to the spirit world, and helping you learn to do dreaming stuff, or like interpret your dreams and understand what those mean. But Jenna, I have been working on a manifesting class in my head. I've already got the layout. It'll be based on my Universal Laws book, so if you don't have it, definitely go pick it up. But I am working on that, and I'm re-engaging in my manifestors and entrepreneurs group because I'm gonna be heading that way. My schedule, you guys, is just craziness. That I even get any of these videos done and podcasts is just like a miracle. Susan, says you explain things so clearly. Thank you. Well, thank goodness. I hope so, because sometimes I just feel like I'm rambling. So, Donna says, I work as an addiction therapist. I love what I do. I love your books. Thank you, Donna. So nice to hear. I love it when you guys tell me you love my stuff. Kelly, I'd love to hear more about having empathic kiddos dealing with nerves in high tension and AKA kindergarten environment. I guess I'm not really sure the question, but like I said, most kids naturally will just veer towards good energy, and they'll stay away from negative energy, and so they're not as affected because their empathic muscle is very strong, so they're not as affected as you think that they are. It's not until that you keep telling them no and training them how to go against their intuition that they begin to, that muscle lessens. So empathic kids and intuitive kids naturally gravitate, and that's towards the positive. And that's why I also tell people, and I always paid attention to my kids, when if your kids ever tell you they don't like somebody or they don't like a situation, and you always need to take that seriously. I don't care what the person or the situation is. If they're expressing some concern, you always want to take that seriously, because like I said, they're not trained to feel differently. They're trained to be very intuitive and very tuned in, and they don't know the rules of, social etiquette and all that yet, right? So they just literally, and think about it, like kids just do what they want to do, and then anything that makes them happy, they go that way, and anything that makes them, that doesn't sound fun, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So like adults, if you could all learn to do what kids do, it'd be awesome. Jenna, I'm from Australia, and I'm seeing this for first time. This so resonates with me and how I feel, and I'm not alone, and thank you for being here with your classes. Hi, I think Sandra, you're talking to me, but my name's Jennifer, and Jen. You can call me Jennifer. Mindy, you've skipped me a few times already. I wonder why. I don't know, Mindy. I haven't seen your questions. It feels so isolating. Family does not get this, and you don't have to feel isolated. You just make different choices. It can be different. I feel my grandma used to get it. My husband not so much. My best friend and I go kayaking and energetically call dolphins. They come and play every time. That is super cool, Linda. Yeah, they do. They come and play a lot. Man, I am like coming to time here, so I'm going to try to get through as many of these questions as I can, but you guys have posted a lot. So Jenna says, I'm in your I think she means psychic ability class, and want to go further into the mentor program. As far as I can go, I live in Hawaii, and etc. I hope to see you in the mentor program. Ashley says, how do you read someone clearly without all of the extra emotional baggage from others? I guess I'm not entirely sure on your question there. How do like, are you talking about like you reading people? Because that takes training. I guess I'm assuming that you're talking about you reading people. So for instance, I went through years and years of training. When you begin to read other people, that, like I said, it takes training to learn how to read people. And that is where you learn to separate what you're seeing with that person versus other people. My reception, this has been trouble. Patty says, yeah, probably spirit interference. Would love to learn more. Linda says, I hope to see you in class, Linda. I think you'd love my classes. Thank you so much. Elena says, I recently been reading your books. And, oh, within a week of working with the Universal Laws book, I got a new job. Yes. That is so awesome. I think that is so cool. Thank you so much for posting that. I love that. That's so amazing. Maybe kids wouldn't suffer as much if we could listen to them. And do you offer private readings? Valerie, yes, I do offer private readings, and I will have Lydia post a link below. But you can go to keystothespiritworld.com, and you, up in the top, there's a offerings button or something, and then you click down, and then there's a readings button. So anyways, thank you all for joining in. Hopefully this was helpful for you empaths out there. I want you to realize there is hope. If you're struggling with it, what most likely, if I can give you just any tips here today, for those of you who want to go further, again, make sure to check out the Empath Transformation course, because this is why I did it. I just really, truly did it so that to help people feel better, and it's been very successful. But remember to veer towards positive energy, pull back from negative energy, stop trying to plow through negativity or things that don't make you feel well. Awareness is key, and negativity is key. You want to be aware of what energy feels like what when you're around, and you want to steer clear of negativity, because as an empath, it will affect you more than you will ever know. It's not like if you're on a diet and you have a thing of pasta. It's like if you're on a diet and you had like a barrel of pasta. So it's, you really want to pay attention to negativity, who you're around, and you want to learn tricks. And what you use your brain for is tricks of veering around negative people, going towards the positive, veering away from the negative, and keeping that empath muscle strong, and making choices based on your intuitive senses, your empathic skills. Super, super important. So watch for the class. I hope that this was helpful to all you guys. Thank you for all your kind comments, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, you have a wonderful day. Aloha. See you.